A Consortium are Sarsas, Womankind, Greenhouse Ourselves and Barnardo's. And we came together a couple of years ago when we realised that we were about to competitively bid for the same tender with the Bristol City Council, and it made so much more sense because of all the different services that we have. They complement each other really well. So we came together and we bid together for it. So really it's a strategic alliance of recognising how much more we can work together better when we share.
One of the real strengths of the Consortium is about the shared voice that we have, so that we can raise awareness about the realities and the impact of sexual violence on survivors with the public, professionals and also with commissioners.
The primary benefit of the Consortium for Sarsas from an organisational perspective is to be able to work collaboratively with other really excellent organisations that support survivors of sexual violence. And the recent needs assessment has been a huge piece of work for us, and we've learned so much from listening to the actual stories of survivors and bringing that piece of work together, that we can learn what survivors' needs are and where they're having some challenges accessing services.
Just sitting around the table as organisations, we recognised how much better we could work together when we were sharing the resources we have and understanding good practice from each other. As organisations, we're all really small and we're trying to work on a fairly shoestring budget, so it's really useful to be able to talk to each other and say, what have you done on this? I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Could you tell me what your practice is? Could we share policies? Could we share different ways of doing things? Share HR resources? All of those aspects are really important.
The real impact, I think, is about creating a space where we can think together about what the real needs of survivors are and how best we can meet those needs, and really putting the survivor at the heart of everything that we do.
We have a more joined up service now, and better referral pathways and better links into our other organisations, so that people are getting the service that they need at the time that they need it.
The reason that I do the work that I do is how powerful it is to see someone go through that change. It's actually quite incredible to see the difference for people when they come to see us.
I do the work that I do because I'm a passionate feminist and passionate about supporting survivors of sexual violence. We had an incredible email last week from a female survivor who had just finished her specialist support work and was talking about how she feels so strong at the end of that work, how she feels like she's gotten her power and control back by what she's done around reporting to the police and speaking her truth, and that she now feels like she is on top of the world. And just the impact of listening and believing people has such a huge impact on every area of their life.
I do this work because I'm a survivor myself, and also because sexual violence happens to many people. Many women report really good outcomes, so things around improved mental health and well-being, increased resilience and resources so that they can cope better. And it's really important that we're able to offer a range of different services to people at different points in their recovery journeys.
A lot of people, particularly the men, have never spoken about their sexual abuse. The average age of men that have experienced childhood sexual abuse that we have is 8, and the average age at which they come to see us is 44. So if you think about how many years it is they've sat with that, which is often a really difficult, they feel it's a real secret that they can't tell anyone. And the relief of being able to talk to somebody about what's happened to them, to realise they're not alone, and to have somebody who's there for them every single week at the same time. And it's really helpful to have a really experienced therapist who's worked with trauma and understands all the different symptoms that can come from the abuse and what it would have meant to them.
My aspirations for the Consortium are that we'll continue working together for the next 5 years. I think we've got a real opportunity to offer a diverse range of survivors, a diverse range of services by coming together and using our resources as effectively as possible.
We understand that There isn't going to be more money coming probably in the next 5 years, so we need to work smarter and recognise that there are underserved members of the community that we're not currently meeting their needs. So it's doing things like looking at whether we could have a one-stop shop where we have one front door for service users, that they come to us, they tell their story once, and we get to the point where we recognise which is the right service for them at the right time, rather than having to go and talk to all our different services at the same time. That will take some time to put in the infrastructure to make that happen, but we're working through that at the moment.